The spousal support is set at $2,000 per month. And you'll continue paying the home mortgage $1,000 for child support and health insurance until your child turns 18. Your child goes to college. You'll cover those expenses too. The judge stated that ruling would cost me over $6,500 every month, despite my wife's affairs with several lawyers. In her firm, I was the one feeling screwed. I'm Kurt D'Angelo, and my ex-wife is Lily. Our daughter G means the world to me. She wanted me to have custody, but the judge ruled otherwise. The trial felt unjust, especially with the high monthly support given Lily's income. It seemed the judge was biased against me, but I wasn't about to take it lying down. Plan to make Lily regret. Crossing me, I have a knack for seizing opportunities, even if some were shady. In the past, now I'm into real estate and own various businesses, including a coin change company. My coin change business allows me to pay the $2,000 spousal support in coins, making it inconvenient for Lily. Let her deal with taking them to the bank and counting them with her lawyer buddies. Lily stayed home with Regina until she started school, then became a paralegal. She quickly climbed the ladder, catching the eye of a rising lawyer, who hired her as his assistant. Looking back, I wonder if she was trading favors. Even then, as her career progressed, she insisted on moving to a fancier neighborhood to flaunt our success despite my preference for our current Oak Forest home. So we bought a $900,000 house and will matte decorating it to her judge's ruling in our divorce. I intended to follow his instructions, though Lily wouldn't be pleased in the following month. I made arrangements my daughter would get her taste, but I never felt at ease. There, reflecting on it now, we had different life goals. I preferred a simpler lifestyle while she wanted to show off our wealth. Now, back to the child support, but Lily wouldn't see a cent. It would go directly to Regina's account. Regina would also have good health and insurance, while Lily would get a high deductible. And shouted back hope. You enjoy your money from your lover. A man approached me on Tuesday, asking if I was Kurt D'Angelo, but I stayed silent. He took a photo of me with policy. After the 30 days passed, it was time for Lily's first spousal support payment. I had an armored truck deliver it to her house. Confused, she stood with a friend as bags of change were unloaded, drawing the attention of curious neighbors, who watched as the change was emptied onto her floor. As the truck left, she yelled at me, but I just waved the summons he had, and when I didn't take it, he dropped it saying, "You've been served," and left after he left. I picked up the summons, realizing I had court next Wednesday. In jail if the judge didn't agree on court day. We waited with my lawyer. When Lily and her lawyer arrived, they taunted me. Regina tried to speak up, but the judge scolded her for giving me a week to prepare. I spent the week getting ready for court and discussing matters. Regina joined me for lunch, upset with her mom. I warned her that I might end up her talk to a psychiatrist. Lily must have seen something in those notes that she thought would help her win with the judge. I've never done anything inappropriate with my interrupting, believing accusations against me. Favoring Lily, my lawyer said, "Judge, we don't know about any accusations, and none have been brought up before. About a report from a psychiatrist. I got with that info. I'm sticking to my decision, so that's settled." 4 months ago, Regina was struggling with her divorce in school, so judge wouldn't even listen to my side. I glared at the judge. He'd regret this. Looks like Lily's law firm was calling the shots. We'll see how they do in the end. My need for revenge. Daughter Lily was trying to make me look like a terrible person. I was getting really upset. I couldn't believe Lily would lie like that, accusing me of something I didn't do. Was starting to show. Lily's lawyer said, "We want the court to say Kurt D'Angelo did something wrong." My lawyer was getting as mad as I was. He could see there wouldn't be any fairness today. "Your Honor, my client has done everything the divorce agreement asked. There's no reason to say he did something wrong." "Your Honor," Lily's lawyer said, he gave her the monthly payment, but it was all in change, mostly pennies and nickels. It damaged the floor and took a lot of time to clean up, so asked the judge. "It caused a mess and damage," said Lily's lawyer. My lawyer was quick to speak, before the judge had a chance. "Judge, according to Section 514 of Title 31 United States Code, coins and bills accepted as payment for all debts, including spousal support. My client has paid everything he's supposed to, including insurance, mortgage and child support. Your Honor. His daughter, for whatever she needs, you can confirm with her." The judge seemed confused. He looked at Regina, who nodded in agreement. "We've got proof of payment." Lawyer chimed in. As of now, my client hasn't got any child support from Mr. D'Angelo. That's true, Your Honor, my lawyer said. But the child support money has gone directly to insurance and mortgage, my lawyer added. I glanced at Lily and her lawyer. They seemed panicked. Your Honor, he said, paying in change is tough for my client. Can we switch to checks in the future? Finally, the judge got a word in. That sounds fair. But before he could say more, my lawyer jumped in again. Your Honor, could you answer a few questions first? And what would those be? He asked. Are the Chicago police part of the legal system? The judge seemed puzzled. Yes, they are. Then why? My lawyer pressed. If my client's car is impounded and he wants to get it back from the Chicago police, impound can't he pay with a check? He has to use cash or a credit card instead. The judge stumbled over his with one. The judge, looking foolish now, got defensive because this is my court, and I make the rules. I'd had it by then, so I stood and said, you're the law here, just trying words. My lawyer kept going. If the police, who you admit are part of Chicago's legal system, won't accept a check, why should my client have to pay future spousal support before BFF take him away? I glanced at Lily and her lawyer. They were shocked. Good luck getting your dirty money now, which I grinned. She had no idea how much her life was. Please, my wife's law firm, were you involved with her too? He lost it. Mr. D'Angelo, you're in contempt of court. You're sentenced to 6 months in Cook County Jail, unless you apologize and agree to whatever I say. Who do you think you are? The king of this messed up court? I yelled. The judge was stunned. He probably had been talked to like that. About to change. I got taken to holding. Had to strip down, then got moved to the jail. Jail is a nicer word than what it really is. It's more like a prison. Right off the bat, 2 guards started hassling me about disrespecting the judge. I wasn't scared of being in jail. I'm 6'4", and then weigh around 255 lubid. Mostly muscle. Keeping up with my rental properties kept me in shape, plus I had spent some time in juvie when I was younger. They processed me, then led me to the cell yard. I blocked out all the noise and commotion. My plan was to keep to myself and watch my back. As long as nobody bothered me, I'd blend in. When they served dinner that night, I grabbed my tray and went through the line. I leaned against a wall, eating while checking out the other guys, trying to act tough. Then over the noise, I heard a voice I hadn't heard in years, since say 2 weeks back in my delinquent days. My street buddies called me Tex. Tex, said Randall, aka Ringer. What are you doing in here? As he came closer, all eyes turned to us. I set my tray down and gave him a hug, right hands clasped together, and my other arm around his shoulders. Ringer, man. It's good to see you. How have you been? Not great, obviously. I'm in here, and you landed you in this mess. Told the judge he was a jerk. Basically, that'll do it. He chuckled. So, how long you in for? 6 months. Unless I apologize to that. So 6 months, I guess. Talked 8 and got some stares from the other inmates. Ringer filled me in on what to expect. He promised to have my back, and I promised the same. We reminisced about the old days after hearing all that. What's your plan with your ex? Her partners and the judge? He asked, knowing me, since I was young back then. Revenge was always my go-to. And they'd spread the word too. So what went down with the judge? He asked. I basically told him he was trash. Damn. How he react? He asked. He took my daughter away. Even why they called me TCH. They called me Tex, because of Texas. You know, like don't mess with Texas. Anyone who did paid for it. They'd think twice before messing with me again. Though she wanted to live with me, and then he practically accused me of hurting her. Damn. So what's your move? I've got some things cooking. I knew I might end up here. Started planning weeks ago. Go. Need any help? He offered. Maybe, not sure yet. But it's good to have a friend in here. I'll introduce you to some of my buddies. It's important to have people you can trust to watch your back. That night, lying in bed, I questioned how things had come to this, reflecting on my rough childhood. With an abusive father and future at 20, I bought a tax foreclosed house, the first of many I renovated and rented out at 22, at a club whose name I've forgotten. I met Lily. Her life was a contrast to mine. Passive mother. I realized the streets became my refuge. I joined a group of guys in similar situations, not a gang, just kids dealing with tough hands. Our actions didn't help. Lansing high crime rate, mostly petty crimes, but we did steal a car or two, leading me to juvie. Looking back, It was a turning point. I promised to change and plan for a better. Raised in Seymour, Indiana, a small town known for John Cougar Melon Camp, despite our differences, we clicked, got married a year later, and welcomed Regina a year after. That named after Lily's mother. I bought a house in Oak Forest, intending to flip it, but when she saw it, she fell in love and wanted to turn it into our home over the next decade. We worked on it together, raising our daughter, hosting barbecues, living the American dream. Then Lily got a job at a law firm, and things changed, especially her attitude. Life wasn't enough anymore. She wanted expensive clothes, jewelry, and dining out replaced our backyard barbecues. She also started making disrespect remarks about Southside Chicagoans. I understand the South Side's reputation, but she, a small-town girl, acted superior to everyone else. We argued about her attitude, and soon after she insisted we move to the North Side. 3 years ago, we did, hoping for better schools. But Regina faced snobby classmates. She wanted to go back home, and so did I. But Lily refused. Around 9:15 I had to use the bathroom while I was there. A guy came in just as he finished. Another guy walked in. "Joe, you were really getting close with Lily on the dance floor." Divorce started one night, when she said she was going dancing. I tracked her phone and saw her dancing and intimately with men from the club, kissing and groping in plain sight. "I thought you were going to make a move right there," the first guy said. "Yeah, she's wild." Joe replied. "She knows how to talk too." The second guy added. "For sure, she told me she's..." The second guy commented, "Tonight's going to be a long one." Joe bragged, "Maybe next weekend, it'll be my turn." The second guy said, as they left the restroom, their talk seemed going home with me tonight. Finally, we'll have more time for fun, instead of just quickies. The office or my car. Joe boasted. Quick relief is okay, but it's nothing like the whole deal. More than just bragging. When I stepped out, I saw her in one of the guy arms kissing on the dance floor around 9:30. She texted me saying she drank too much and didn't feel into his Lexus, kissing and touching each other for a while. I was getting angry, but then my Southside toughness kicked in, and I calmed down, making my plans. I trailed them to safe, taking the L late at night, she said she'd stay at Paula's, another pargal from her office. I replied, "That's okay," she texted back. Sorry, she'd regret it. I watched as she grabbed her purse and left the club arm in arm with a young lawyer from her office. I followed them. They were so wrapped up in each other that they didn't notice me. His place. They went into the parking garage. So I headed for the mansion. When I got there, I told Regina we were leaving for good, and she should pack whatever she wanted. But we loaded everything into my truck. Luckily, our old place in Oak Forest was empty, so we had somewhere to go around 11 a.m. The next morning, Saturday, she called me. Because we weren't coming back, she was thrilled, but asked about Mom. She's got other guys to take care of her now. I said, and she got it right away. It took us about 3 hours. "Kurt, what's happening? Where are you home?" I replied. It didn't take her long to understand why she asked. "Knowing why? I don't know you anymore, and I don't want to." "Where's..." "Luxuriously doesn't mean you can leave and take our daughter." "No, Lily, but having a cheating wife is a good reason to leave." "Expect divorce papers next week." She gasped then. "Regina with me, she doesn't want to live with you there anymore." She wasn't sure if I knew about her affair or not. So she tried. "Come on, Kurt, just because you don't like living..." Last of my anger for the next 6 months, she didn't try to patch things up. Regina revealed Lily's absence until late at night, and her harsh comments about me urging Regina to, said in her usual nasty way, "You low-life Southsider, you have no idea what trouble you're in, for my firm will crush you." "Maybe," I said, "but I'll come out on top. You haven't seen the..." Marry a rich guy for a life of luxury. But Regina defended me, wanting to return to Oak Forest. Now in jail, Lily likely thinks she's won, but I'll make use of my time to plan my inmates, and I knew trouble was brewing. I woke up in the infirmary, all injured and sore. They wanted to show they were in charge, and this was their way. It looked like mourning. Revenge. I wonder if she's considered how bills will be paid, or her insurance and support. Then one Thursday something occurred that would impact many lives, even those I never meet. The guards escorted me to a video room, without my lawyer. They instructed me to sit down for judgment. They shut the door, and moments later they let in six. From the sunlight coming in, I'd been out all night, glaring at the nurse. I felt bitter about the system that took my kid, made me fund my ex's luxury, and tossed me in jail. Tied down, and my eyes were filled with hate. She assured, "I'm here to help, not hurt. You're badly injured. I can aid your healing or you can stay in pain, managing a smile. Apologized, she understood my anger. Leaving briefly, she returned with breakfast, and freed my hand as I ate. I decided to ask for a favor to see Randall Turner. She promised. Check and arranged his visit. When he entered, he exclaimed, "Oh crap," he knew I wasn't about to let this slide. I described the 6 guys and 2 guards who attacked me, then I said, "I need the full names of all 8, not just their nicknames." "Oh crap," he repeated, "what your plan, an eye for an eye, but with a twist." I replied, "I'll try to get the names," he said. "Do you need me to do just that? I'll handle the rest." After some more talk, he was taken back to his cell. I had a restless night, strapped to the bed and unable to get comfortable. Both good and bad surprises. Lily had come along with Regina. Lily spoke first. "So I see you're getting along with your fellow scum," she remarked. "What the heck do you want?" Snapped Regina. "Insisted we visit you, ready to apologize and be reasonable, yet she asked, "No way. And what's this nonsense about me and Regina? You know I'd never do." The next day Ringer returned with the list. Once again, he asked, "What's your plan?" "The less you know the better," I replied. "Oh crap," he muttered. The following day, Sunday, brought. "You'll see how full of it you are." I shot back, "Just so you know, I've offered myself to them. And they loved it." She bragged, "Get out of here and send Regina in. I'm done talking to anything to her," I retorted. "How do I know? She seems unusually attached to you." She said, "You 43. Why don't you go back to your lovers and let them screw you over? Maybe then." "You," I exclaimed. She smirked, thinking she was getting under my skin. She was just adding fuel to the fire that would burn her in the end. When they brought Regina in, she burst into tears at the sight of me. "All bandaged up, sweetheart. Don't cry. It looks worse than it is," I reassured her. We chatted about small things. Then I asked, "Can you do something for me?" "Of course, Dad. Anything." I handed her the list Ringer gave me, and she quickly tucked it into her bra. "Give this to Uncle Ken, and tell him to come visit me ASAP." My brother Ken was 3 years younger. We both grew up with an abusive father, but I shielded him from it as much as I could. He was the brains of the family. Getting into walked out. Lily commented, "Your daughter is just as stubborn as you." I simply smiled. As she walked away on Tuesday, Ken came to visit. He was surprised by how I looked. "Your computer games," and eventually computers themselves. We kept chatting until Lily returned, and said, "Regina, it's time to leave." Gina didn't respond to her, just hugged me. "Looking better than you did last Friday." I joked, "I'm glad I waited," he quipped back then. He started talking to me in our secret language, the one we made up when we were kids. Done some initial digging. "What are you looking for? Addresses of wives or steady girlfriends?" I replied. He looked at me and then said in English, "Oh crap," using our language. I said, "That's all you need to do. Then give it to Gummy, and tell him to visit me." But without the list, Gummy was one of my crew. Ken knew he was still living in our parents' old house and to talk about Mom and Dad without them understanding. "Whenever we need to talk privately, we use it." Gina, he said in our language. She gave me the list. "Lansing, I can handle that. Anything else?" Ken asked. "No, that'll do. But don't be a stranger. I could use some familiar faces now and then." I said, "Aren't you getting out soon?" Inquired. "Not unless I apologize, and you know me better than that." I replied, "You've always been stubborn." He remarked, "Yeah, and it spared you from Dad's drunken anger." Reminded him, he knew I was right, and just grinned. "I'll swing by in the next couple of weeks. See if you need anything else." He offered. "That'd be great." I replied. Later in the week, was back in my usual cell, and Ringer had spread the word that something was brewing, and there'd be consequences. They just didn't know what the looks I got from the guards. "What happened to me?" I asked. "Yeah, I did," he replied. "Ken must have filled him in. Payback time, but hit their loved ones. No traces. Use Steely Dan or his cousins." I instructed him and the 6 and warned me to stay in line, or else little did they know they'd soon be put in their place. Gummy visited, and said Ken passed it to me. "What's the plan, did you hear? Revenge soon," ensuring they couldn't trace it back, but they'd know why. A week passed with no word. I awaited my daughter's visit, dreading seeing Lily. Tuesday morning. Noticed the guards were absent, unusual for a weekday, and one of the 6 and seemed distracted and upset. It must have happened yesterday. I figured. I told Ringer to spread the understood and nodded. Coordinated same day, same time. Make sure they're told, don't mess with Texas. I added, I'll get some help. Help, he assured before leaving. He'd advice. I warned you now. Your ladies know how it feels. An eye for an eye with a twist. You hurt me, I hurt the ones you love. Tell them next time. It'll be their moms. His eyes. Word. Don't mess with Texas soon. Inmates were calling me Tex within days. The 6 EMs were glaring at me, and the guards watched closely, but Ringer crew had my back when one of the 6 EMs approached. 8 of my allies surrounded us. "You scum, my girl dumped me because of you. She said don't mess with Texas." He spat. I smiled. Sounds like sound.